little bit of a warm-up and strength training before we go out on a run. How are you doing this morning? I hope you're doing all right. I know I'm doing fine. Microphone seems to be plugged in. Let's check if everything is working. Yep, everything's working. All right. So for those of you watching, my name is Toby. I am 40 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I do that by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours every day. I do it by minding what I eat. Try to eat within my energy balance. Try to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein every day. And I try to eat mostly fresh, wholesome foods, lots of vegetables, home-cooked meals, rather than takeaways and prefabricated things. But that's 95% of the time, because I do believe in some sort of balance, and I'm a child of this age and everything that it has to offer. I also do strength training, conditioning training, and mobility training. And this morning I'm going out for a run in a bit. It's -3, so I'm going to have to get changed after I do a short workout, some strength and some mobility before heading out to doing the run. This is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I want to feel fit, capable, and competent for whatever life throws at me. I am 40 years old, father of 2 boys, have a busy career, want to keep up with family life, want to keep up with social life, want to go out and travel and do fun things. So being able to do all of that requires me to keep myself in some sort of healthy and fit shape to deal with the demands of daily life. Also, I am very much aware that I am going to live to be 70 or 80, barring any tragedies befalling me or family. And if that's the case, I would like to be fit and competent at that age as well. I don't mean free of disease and discomfort. That is preventable. Now, there's some deterioration that occurs with aging. I think when you hit 40, if you're like me, you become very much aware of that. But there are also things that we can enjoy, we can avoid or prevent simply by taking some measures today and building up the strength, conditioning, fitness, health, mobility that we want to have and need for life. Exercise is a form of medicine. Food is a form of medicine. Sleep is a form of medicine. So just keep that in mind, that is one of the things that we're working towards. Anyway, I'm going to hit the timer. We're going to get started. We have a 40-second timer for some mobility, and then we're going to do some strength work. We're going to do some deadlifts, some squats, deadlift, squats, rows, and push-ups. And then we're going to go out on a run. All right? It is 6:30 a.m. It's a bit later than usual. That is because I spent the last hour recording a long form about getting fit at 40, talking about some of the basics that I'll publish a bit later today. So if you're interested in that, you just go ahead and subscribe to my channel and you'll get a notification when that gets published. Not very long. I'm trying to do it like long form. I mean 2 to 3 minutes of talking, because I'm not sure how interesting I am or if anyone would want to listen to me talk for 20 minutes straight. But it's also me practicing and getting into making longer form videos once a month, which is reasonably hard to do given the schedule I'm on. Just going to be breathing now, expanding the stomach and exhaling. Just filling it up like a balloon and emptying it. All right, the neck. And by the way, if you're dropping by in chat, dropping by and watching, you go ahead, say hello. Let me know how you're doing. I'm always happy to hear from you during my morning routine. I'm here generally every day, and I'm in my 40s. You can ask me about my health and fitness journey, where I've been, where I think it's going to go, all of the things I've done and tried, and how that has shaped my approach. And it can be anything. You can ask me about health and fitness. You can ask me about life. You can ask me about the challenges of being a father. Those are things you're interested in. You can ask me about career. We can talk about a lot of things here. So I think talking with other people is one of the ways we learn from life experience. And it might inform the decisions we make and what we do day to day. In any case, here we are this morning, working on our mobility and strength and conditioning. Now, I'm going to turn 41, and I was looking at some old videos from last year before I herniated my neck, because I was doing like 30 pull-ups and then 100 push-ups and then some kettlebell work. And boy, was I fit and healthy at the time. And I built that up over time. Right? We'd worked towards that goal over time. And that's all fine. And I think I look slightly different now, but I'm probably as fit and healthy as I was going to be, given the 30 minutes in a day that I have. Because it's Sunday today, we have a bit more time, right? So we can do a bit more work on that conditioning through some steady state endurance work outdoors, 30 minutes to an hour of running. Something that usually during the week I don't have that much time for. So now that it's February, we've come out of January, and January was about finding my stride, despite all the big plans I may have had in terms of getting fit and healthy. I think my mind and my motivation went somewhere else. So January was really about figuring out, am I going to do this for another year, for a lifetime? And if that is the case, how am I going to make that work? How am I going to get myself to show up every day? I'm doing a lot better in that department. So now we can go back to thinking about some of the bigger goals that we want to achieve. So in January, we worked our way up from 60 kettlebell swings in 10 minutes to 200 kettlebell swings in 10 minutes with 16 kilos. That's something we're going to just continue to do throughout the month of February as we work on other aspects of the strength and conditioning that I want to have throughout the month. And again, this is not about the way I feel, not about the way I look. This is about the way I feel. I want to feel fit and competent and capable for life. And the only way to do that is to show up and do this strength and conditioning work regularly. So I like to be back on pull-ups, but I need to find a place to do that. And the closest place to do that is about 15 minutes away from the house. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get there once a week, or I'm going to have to do them at the end of the working day at the office gym, where we have facilities to do things like that. I'd like to get back into doing push-ups. And the same thing is with the pull-ups, right? It's not that I can't do them. I don't have to drive to do them. It's that I have this issue with my shoulder, my left shoulder, my right shoulder, right side of my neck. Suffered a hernia last year. I need to figure out how to make that stronger and work on strength and conditioning there before we can actually take on more and more stress and strain with those. Justin, hey Justin, I'm doing all right, buddy. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Thanks for dropping by again, for saying hello. I'm just going through the motions of some mobility and strength. And then in a couple of minutes, I'm going to go out for a run into the cold. So I'm going to have to put on some warm clothes before heading out there. Apparently it's -3 this morning. You warm up while you run, but better be well prepared. As the point of running is to get healthier, not to get sick or injured. But it's going to be nice, fresh air outside. And later today, publishing a long-form video for you to watch and enjoy. Some reflections on the basics of health and fitness, my thoughts, and then we can continue the conversation throughout the year. So that's what I'm up to. What are you up to this morning or this evening, depending on where you are? You might be somewhere in the world where maybe it's still Saturday night, not yet Sunday morning. Here, Sunday morning, and it's getting closer and closer to the time that the family is going to wake up and start their day. That's going to be nice. Have a nice family Sunday. Enjoy ourselves. Well, what always surprises me is how much I don't feel like getting out of bed, doing the work, especially this morning. I even crawled back into bed for about 10 minutes before forcing myself to get out of bed. Just trying to make up excuses. So I told my phone that I was awake on my watch And I was hoping that it was going to tell me that I hadn't slept enough so that I could go back to sleep. But of course it told me that I'd slept just fine. And with that excuse gone, it's like, well, I'm awake now. Just get up out of bed and get on with the day. So I got about 7 hours of sleep last night. And I think it was, 7.5 hours would have probably been ideal, but hey, there you go. Sometimes it is what it is. And I got out of bed. I planned to shoot a slightly longer form of me talking about the basics, fitness and health at 40. And, just reminding people who are interested, reminding all of you who subscribe to this channel that it's about showing up and doing the work. And it doesn't really matter what we do. What matters is that we show up and do something, because that's going to help us get fit and healthy over time. Well, of course, I didn't feel like making that video either. 5 o'clock in the morning, but now that it's done, pretty happy that I did it, because it's a commitment I made to myself that I want to make more videos, longer form videos. So it's good practice. And that was the one for January. So we're still on track for this year to make 12 of those longer form videos. Okay. Keeping commitments to ourselves is inherently satisfying and inherently motivating, because it shows us we're the kind of people that we can trust to keep our word. And I think in today's day and age, that's quite a thing. It's a nice thing to know about yourself. Because when you can rely on yourself to say when you're going to do something that you are or not going to do it, you can actually commit to things and know you'll follow through on them. Clifford Gerber. Hey Clifford, thanks for dropping by, saying hi. Appreciate that. Toby, at work at the moment. Very nice. We're doing heavy hands. Whatever it is, I hope you're doing well this morning, friend. I hope life is treating you well. Working on that ankle mobility, because we need that for those deep squats, for squats in general. And I always forget that requires some working on and some attention too. All right, there we go. And we're just easing through a series of mobility workouts, nicely on our way to a couple of circuits of lifting some heavy weights before I'm going to get changed, go out on a run. And for those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I'm 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life at 40. I do that by minding my sleep, minding what I eat, showing up for some strength training, conditioning training, and mobility training every day for about 30 minutes. So it's something you're interested in. You want to learn more from me, my journey, my experience, my life. You go ahead and check out my channel, subscribe. We can continue this conversation together and talk about all manner of things. We can talk about health and fitness at 40. By the way, if you're watching right now, go ahead and hit like. It helps people find the channel. It helps me grow the channel. And I'd appreciate it. And talk about health and fitness. Talk about career. We can talk about life in general. We can talk about my philosophy of being a father. We can talk about many things, many important things. Something went pop there. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll find out in the course of the day. So that's why I'm doing all of this morning before going out for a run. It's going to be cold outside, and I'm going to want to be slightly warmed up so that we can do what we want to do, which is get fitter and stronger and not get injured. All right. And moving left, moving right, working on that hip mobility, side to side. Again, I think mobility in general is slightly underrated when it comes to long-term health and fitness, but your ability to use the full range of motion and continue to use the full range of motion your body offers, I think is going to pay itself back manyfold over the course of a lifetime. You know, all the joints and the way we use them today, well, we could be better at using them because we sit and we lie down and we sit some more. And that's just not conducive to health, both in the short term and in the long term. But What are you going to do about it? Not a lot. We can't do about it, right? We can just make the choice ourselves to either make the most of this or not. And I can tell you from personal experience that 20 or 30 minutes in a day, even just 10 minutes in a day, are going to make a big difference in how we feel and what we're capable of. Hey, we're back to those ankles. Because we want to increase the range of motion and stability in the ankles over time by using them better and by putting our feet in different positions. We absolutely can. I didn't want to get up either. Sleep. Well, I'm glad you had a good night's sleep. As you always say, sleep's important, right? In fact, sleep is one of the keys to long-term health and fitness that we often forget. The first thing people tend to do is start looking for workout programs. People want to hit the gym. People want to do home workouts. People want to do body weight. People want to lift weights, swing kettlebells. But to be very honest, if you're not sleeping well, you are unable to create a rhythm for yourself where you are sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night on a regular basis, and you have a pretty steady sleep and wake up time. If you can't do that, it doesn't really matter how much you're going to be working out or what you're going to be doing. You're not going to get as fit and healthy as you think you might. Whereas you might start to feel a lot better and actually see some benefits simply from getting sufficient sleep as a human being. Because we need sleep. Sleep is probably one of the most important keys for us in terms of our health and fitness, and specifically maintaining our health and fitness. Yeah? Just keep that in mind as we go through life and as we go through these exercises. We're doing some ankles now. We're going to do an exercise for the knees next. And then we're going to do Cossack squats. And then we're going to do some strength work with a 24 kilogram kettlebell. It's not going to be much, but we're going to do it anyway. And then we're going to have a cup of coffee and head out on that morning run into the cold, dark outside of winter. Whew. Feel like Rocky Balboa. Getting out there. That's how old I am. Alright? So, hey, February. We're going to continue doing what we did in January through February. Did you make any different goals? You adjusted your goals based on what you've been able to do in January? And sometimes, we have plans. I know I had plans for January. And life has a different plan, right? There's just a different reality to the one we imagined in our head. And we need to adapt and improvise and overcome to make the most of the situation we find ourselves in. I think that's where I'm at right now, where I was hoping to get a lot more done in January, but given the fact that my shoulder is recovering, and by the way, it's getting better and stronger, so whatever exercises I'm doing for the rotator cuff are helping, but also it seems just giving the overhead stuff a break, being a bit wiser about it, it's good. But again, I'm also not looking forward to starting over again, like 8 kilos, and I'm working my way back up. It was so nice to be at 16 kilos. But in my eagerness, I screwed that up. What can I say? All right, some Cossack squats, and then I'm going to also come and read those last messages that you left there for me. It is nice to be able to stay this low and move from side to side and have that flexibility and mobility in life. All right, I'm going to move on to the strengths. Keep looking up. Good evening. How's all this me? It is nice to meet you, and thank you for dropping by and saying hello while I change the timer. It's always nice to meet someone who's had as much or maybe even a bit more life and gym experience than I've had. And I'm guessing that you're keeping up with health and fitness if you're on this channel and you're working out regularly. And I appreciate you dropping by and saying hi. And I hope you're doing well where you are in the world. All right, we're going to do simple circuit, starting with some deadlift. The timer's running. I'm going to do anything crazy. Mind form up. 2. Because when it comes to kettlebell, that movement is the foundation of everything, right? It's the foundation of the swing, the clean, snatch. It's how we get that weight up. So you just want to make sure that you're always practicing the fundamentals and the basics. Because that's how we get stronger and build good form over time. Do squats, goblet squats. And then we're going to do push-ups. And it's in every minute, on the minute. So we do the exercise, then we wait for the minute to run out. We do the next exercise, and so forth, and so forth. And push-ups next. We're just going to do the circuit 2 or 3 times. And that's going to be it before the run. And I think the main point here is that on a Sunday morning, we're just going to get about 1.5 to 2 hours of physical exercise or movement in relatively low intensity, not doing anything crazy. Simply showing up, doing some movement, lifting some weight, going for a run. 3, 4, 5, and back to the deadlift. There we go. You don't have to go all out and super hard every time. I think some people would like you to believe that you do. I think it's more important to sense where your body is at when you start the day and then tax it accordingly. And some days, that means you're going to take it easy. Other days, that means you're going to go all out. But if you go all out 3 times a week for a month, and then you get injured or you burn out, I can guarantee you that the guy or girl who shows up 30 minutes every other day but doesn't go all out, but manages to stick with the program and progressively overload themselves for a year is going to be better off. And part of working on your own health and fitness through life is learning to own that cadence and impulse to the best of your ability. And there are different ways in which you can do that. But the easiest one is to just listen to your own body and your own clock and your own cadence. Alright? Anyway, that's the way I look at things. It is close to 7 a.m., I think. If it isn't 7 a.m. already, 7:03. So I'm going to do the squats and the push-ups, one more cycle, and then we're going to go out for a nice run. There we are. YouTube Punk, what time is it over in Texas? You're still watching. And for everyone who's just tuned in, my name is Toby, 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep, trying to get between 7 and 9 hours a night, minding what I eat, try to eat within my energy balance, try to eat fresh, home-cooked foods, try to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein in a day. I do strength training, conditioning training, mobility training, because I want to feel fit, capable, and competent for what life is going to throw at me. Alright, the last circuit 4 more minutes. So if that's something you're interested in, you go ahead, hit like on the stream, subscribe, we can continue the conversation. I am just past midnight. Oh wow. Zagger. I am. It's 7 a.m. right now. Right. So we can be on this journey together. I think it's nice to hear from people what they're working on. We can learn from each other. Keep each other motivated. Because we're going to have to live together on this planet for a long time. Another 40 years, for me at least. And I do hope that those will be a good and a healthy 40 years. And it'd be lovely to spend some of that time in your company as we show up every day to do some kettlebell workouts, some mobility work, and some strength work. Boy, I'm looking forward to that cup of coffee. It's been a productive morning already. Shot a video of mobility, doing some strength. Then going to go out and do some conditioning. It's a good start of the day altogether, I'm sure of it. You know, some of you might be wondering, well, that seems quite light. And I'm going to agree with you. 24 kilos, low reps. Am I really going to grow any muscle from this? I doubt it. But we're laying the foundations for more work down the line. Right? Just like I built up to 200 swings over the course of a month. I think if you do this circuit 6 times and you slowly increase the reps every time you do it up to 10, I don't think you need a lot more than 24 kilos. And you're going to see some interesting results. You add kettlebell swings to the mix and some pull-ups. Probably have a magic formula for strength and conditioning. Final set, push-ups. Because it's all about doing everything in one go. It's about being consistent over time and getting a bit stronger with every time we work out and do a workout. It's as simple as that. Alright, 7:09 a.m. friends. Thanks for dropping by for the last 40 minutes. Like I said, my name is Toby, 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. Something you're interested in how I sleep, how I eat, how I do strength, conditioning, mobility here at home, subscribe to my channel. We can continue the conversation. I'm here every day for about 30 minutes, early morning, my time, to talk about health and fitness while I work out. Remember, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. There are enough people out there who want to put us down. So we don't have to do that to ourselves. We lift ourselves up. All right, friends. YouTube Punk, Thanks for dropping by, for saying hi. It ain't nothing, but it's the consistency that matters, not the weight. Do the same thing with 8 kilograms and be just as happy, right? And remember, the only way to get anything done, friends, by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow. Take care.